You can make a difference. You can give hope to a child. You can change a life. And that is no small change.
Two people can connect in a loving way. You learn to just laugh at each other and be able to just adjust and get along. When two people trust each other, there's good communication between people.
Welcome to One-on-One. My name is David Staal.
And I'm Chris Reinsma, and today we're going to be talking about what makes a great Kids Hope USA relationship, Dave. And we know there's a lot of great relationships happening all across the country, and today I specifically want to give a shout out to our programs in South Dakota. I have my big South Dakota coffee mug, and just so you know, if you want to send in a coffee mug from your state, we'll feature it here on the One-on-One show.
Just as I represent all the Starbucks coffee drinkers out there, if you want to send me a mug, I'll put it on air next time too.
Dave, let's jump right in. Let me ask you a question. How long do you think it takes to build a great relationship with a mentee?
Chris, that's an easy question to answer. It's somewhere between 5 minutes and 5 months or 2 years.
Okay, so there we go. We got a nice broad range there.
It can take a variety of time frames, from an immediate connection to one that takes several months to maybe into the second year before it's really, really tight. And let me share from personal experience on that, if it's okay with you. Last year, I mentored a little guy. He was in second grade, and from the moment we met, we just connected. We both loved Star Wars, and we had a whole bunch of connection points, but bottom line, personality-wise, we connected right away. However, Chris, he moved away over the summer. So just this past week, I started mentoring a new little guy. He's in the second grade, same teacher, same school, same everything. And for the first 30 minutes that we were together when we met this week, all he could ask me was, so I'm going to have to miss recess today? And then he figured out, I'm going to have to miss recess every Monday? And Chris, in the battle of me versus recess, I lost. Okay? He could never get over the fact that he was going to miss recess to be with me. But you know what? Over time, I know that he and I will form a great relationship, because in the second half of our time together, we started asking questions and having some fun, laughing and all that. But you know what? It's just going to take time. So I've gone from immediate to, wow, I've got one that's probably going to take some time.
Right. So it sounds like the prevailing wisdom then is that you just have to stick with it, whether it happens right away or whether it happens down the line. You just have to keep showing up and building into that relationship, and at some point, it's all going to pay off.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Chris, I have a question for you. Let's pretend I'm a prayer partner. What should I pray for to help my mentor and his or her child have a great relationship? Exactly what should I pray for?
That's a great question. One of the things, we've recently done some research from mentors and prayer partners, and one of the things that we found, Dave, was that the influence of the prayer partner has been pretty underutilized. They're just, mentors aren't necessarily communicating with them as much as they could be to get the most out of it. I think as we've looked at that question, we've said one of the things that a prayer partner could be doing initially is really praying for connection with the student. And the more that they're able to do that, just praying for those points of connection between the mentor and student, that's going to get the relationship off to a great start. Now, as the relationship progresses and deepens, there's going to be more that a mentor is going to be able to share with a prayer partner to pray for. But initially, it's going to be about praying for the conditions for that mentor and that mentee to really have a strong connection and to find those pieces of connection in a short amount of time.
That makes sense, and I'd like to add one more into that too. Pray for patience. I know that my prayer partner, Steve, is praying for patience for me, so that because my expectations might be that everything's going to happen right away. I need patience, and Steve can help by praying for that for me.
Very good. Another question, Dave, is what do you do if you feel like your child doesn't really like you, that the relationship isn't going well? What can a mentor do in that situation?
So you talked to my kid already.
Right after the session, I did. I talked to him.
Well, if you feel like you're just not having a great relationship, probably the starting point is to take a look at what are your expectations. A lot of times we hear, as part of Kids Hope USA, we hear these fantastic stories of relationships that bond and bond tight, and there's some spectacular things that happen, and music plays from the very moment kids and mentors meet. But you know what, Chris? A lot of times that doesn't happen. And so a better approach is to say, I'm in it for the long run. And so however long it takes, I'm going to stick with it and not worry about, is it a spectacular relationship right at the beginning. Now also with that, what you need to keep in mind is that maybe a child is having a better time than what you think. And what I mean by that is that, remember, we're mentoring at-risk kids here who probably have some emotional scars. And what that means is that maybe they have a tough time expressing their feelings. And so the fact that you don't feel like the relationship is going because of the signals you're picking up from your child could just be because that child has some emotional scars that prevent him or her from showing how much they really enjoy the relationship. So, Chris, what that means is that the relationship could be going fine, and as a mentor, you're just not picking up the signals. So ask the child. Literally ask your child, how's our relationship going? Because most kids will tell you, and just be prepared for what you hear.
Right. So it sounds like, Dave, what you're saying is that sometimes the mentor can actually be the last one to know about how the relationship is actually going.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm kind of counting on that. So, Chris, I have a question. What has prevented some people from having a great relationship with a child?
Again, I want to go back to a recent research project that we've done within Kids Hope USA, where we looked at mentor and mentee relationships from both the mentor's perspective and the mentee's perspective. And here's some of the things that we found from that project that told us what kind of kept relationships from being great, or what made great relationships. One of the things that was front and center was great relationships always focused on the relationship itself and making sure that that was a key piece to what was going on, that it was about fun and that it was about sharing with the mentee, and that they always came with that attitude of wanting to work on the relationship. Now, they may also have been working on academics and other growth-focused activities, but there was always a bent towards the relationship. And those relationships that did that had that fun and sharing and focused on the relationship, they really had a great time. And so that's one thing. Another thing that surfaced from the research was when kids had significant behavior problems within that mentoring hour, that really sometimes discouraged the mentor. And what I would say is that if you're in that situation, or you have some of your mentors who are in that type of a situation, that you include the school personnel and you really bring them into it to help them bring their professional expertise to helping that child within that mentoring hour. Because that mentor, I think, oftentimes feels like if all I'm doing is babysitting or trying to get my child to do something, they don't really even have the opportunity to focus in on the relationship. So behavior was the other real thing that surfaced. And to sum up, I would say this, is that the more fun and sharing that you can do in your relationship, the better off that you're going to be. And in some ways, for a child, fun is their work. And so it's a really good idea to always have those pieces in your mentoring of fun and sharing, because that's part of the kids' work and their growing and developing.
Wait, Chris, so let me get really clear about this. What I hear you saying is that you're giving permission to mentors like me and you to not focus so much on academics during the hour, but go ahead and have more fun and have more focus on the relationship. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that the fun and the sharing piece, building that connection with the child, is so much a part of them feeling good about the relationship. And the better that they feel about the relationship really can then lead into asking for more growth-oriented activities, i.e. academics or character development. But when somebody comes in with an agenda, a mentor comes in and says, I really want to help you grow in your character, I really want to help you academically in this way, and they do that without the fun and the sharing piece of it, the child feels like, oh, this is just another adult that's come into my life and is trying to tell me what to do. And that's not what these students need. That's not how they benefit most. They benefit most when there's that strong sense of fun and relationship. And along with that can come that growth focus. But the growth focus alone just doesn't cut it for a great relationship.
Wow, so maybe I should go out for recess with my child.
Maybe you should. Maybe you
There's
should. Check with the
idea.
school, but maybe
There
you
we
should.
go. That's an idea.
Hey, speaking of fun, I'd like to have a little bit of fun right now. And the way I'd like to do it, Dave, is I'd like to pick out one random program from around the country. And why don't you tell them what they get if they win this little contest we're going to do right now?
Okay. We're going to pick out a one program, as Chris mentioned. And if that program calls us within a certain amount of time, then what will happen is you'll win a $100 prize. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what the $100 prize is, only that it's a $100 prize, and you need to contact us. So without further ado, Chris, let's pick a program.
Let's pick a program, and we're going to spin the wheel here.
There we
And
go.
a random number has come out.
There we go. And it looks
Dave,
like
read me off the number, please.
it is number 64.
Number 64.
Yeah, 64.
64, got it. Number 64 is Southern Oaks Baptist Church of Kerrville, Texas, and Lee is the director there. So, Lee, you need to contact us by Friday,
November 12th,
Friday, November 12th at 5 p.m.
Eastern Time.
Eastern Time. And if you do so, you can redeem your $100 prize. And if you know Lee, then please just make sure that they call and get to us, because if they don't, that $100 prize is going to go unclaimed, and that would be a sad story, Dave. We don't want that.
We don't want that. In fact, anybody from Southern Oaks Baptist Church in Kerrville, Texas, anybody can give us a call. Just tell us where you're from. Mm-hmm. The number to call is on the website, so go ahead and ring us by 5 p.m. tomorrow, Friday, November 12th. So make sure you give us a call, and we'll send you that prize.
Fantastic. Hey, to sum up, we've talked a lot about what makes a great relationship, and I wanted to end with consulting our experts, Dr. Roger Sellen, our staff psychologist, and Dr. Brad Schwal in Dallas, who's a consultant for us down there. What did Dr. Schwal have to say about what makes a great relationship? Because you have a quote there from him.
Yeah, sure did. We called Dr. Brad and just asked him the question, what would make a great relationship? Just to hear what he would say. And here's what Dr. Brad told us. He said, great mentoring relationships involve undivided attention, unconditional acceptance, patience, affirmation, and consistency. So there you go. That's what I need to focus on as I approach mentoring.
There's a lot of great active words that he used there. And you know what? Dr. Roger Sellen said something similar, but kind of with a bigger picture, I think. He said, when a person cares enough to break out of their cycle of busyness and share one-on-one time with a child. So I think Dr. Roger is speaking to that idea of really being fully present to that child, of forgetting about all the rest of life. And when you're with that child, that is really the only thing you're focusing on. And I think Dr. Brad gave us some words about how we would use that time and what that focus looks like.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, when we do break out of our busyness and we spend time with a child and we focus in on him or her, then we've seen over and over that a life will change. And when you change a life, Chris,
that's no small change. Now, have you ever used one of these before?
never.
Okay, so are you sure all the balls are in there? I mean, is this all? This is everyone. Everybody's got a number, right?
Is this gambling?
This
isn't gambling,
This is not
is it?
gambling. This is
Okay.
not gambling.
The Bible says
Okay.
don't gamble.
Okay, all right. So the ball comes out, and then we pick it up. There's a number on it.
It's
47.
47. It's a 4 and a 7.
Okay. See, it keeps coming up as Virgil's church every time. I don't know. Let's put it back in. Let's try it again.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Just do another ball down here.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Is it going?
It's going to go.
There we go. What's the number?
47?
You know,
Are they all 47 in there?
it's all 47. So if you're number 47, I guess you're there.
Especially if you're a virgin.